State Youth of the Year event for 2012. Our first speaker this morning is Sierra Keeler from Boys and Girls Clubs of Weld County.
For all of us in life, there are two choices. We can choose to be a victim, or we can choose to be a victor. Unfortunately, our lives may not always treat us kindly. Oftentimes, it's a difficult hand that we're dealt. But the most important thing to remember is that in our hardest of times, we can all build the value of perseverance. My Boys and Girls Club has taught me all about perseverance. They have also taught me how to live each and every day with a thirst for life. My name is Sierra Faye Keeler, and because of my Boys and Girls Club, I choose to be the victor. When Gailton Club first opened, I was very young. I walked into the club not quite sure what I should expect. But what I found within those walls was an environment filled with people who were willing to teach me with love and affection how to assess, adapt, and overcome any obstacle that might face me in life. I found something far greater than I ever could have imagined. Because of the hard work others invested in me and taught me to invest in myself, I choose to be the victor. Now life has more in store for me than I ever could have imagined. Although there have been times in my life that I would hardly consider easy, I wouldn't trade a moment of what I've been through. The races I run have left their fair amount of bruises, but every jump and every step has made me a stronger, better person. Looking back on the hardest times in my life, I smile. They come as a source of pride to me now. My first obstacle seemed to come at me from nowhere. My father, Craig Keeler, has always suffered heart problems. When I was only 10 years old, he was diagnosed with ventricular tachycardia. I was very young and living with the stark reality that my father could be taken from us at any moment. At the time, I was barely old enough to understand. So I thought that expressing my fears to my family was the wrong thing to do. I thought I would increase the burden we were all already bearing due to my father's horrible illness. In my moments of terror and silence, my club became my only solace. They taught me that I need to rely on my family as much as I rely on myself. And they also taught me that I need to spend time with those I love, doing what I love, because we can never truly be sure how long we have left. My father miraculously recovered, and with one of life's hurdles behind me, I had yet another to face. At age 16, I was diagnosed with ADHD. For years, I had known that something was wrong, because it seemed as if others were easily able to accomplish things that I struggled with immensely. ADHD wasn't allowing me to reach my full potential, and so I knew I had reached another juncture in my life where I would have to face difficult decisions. Focus, organization, and dedication brought me a thorough understanding of what ADHD is and how I can combat its symptoms. Through a series of holistic attempts and medications, I find things that work for me. I continue to use these methods today to combat my symptoms and allow myself to truly shine. Through every struggle, tangle, or strife, my club has been by my side. All of my fellow coworkers, club members, and dear friends have been with me and accepted me unconditionally. Gailton has been alongside me over every mountain I have crossed on my journey. They have been the shoes to clothe my feet. I can only hope to inspire others, as I have been inspired. I will continue to pursue my dreams of becoming a teacher, because I want to show those around me that life will always present us with challenges. The most important thing to remember is that in our hardest of times, when worst comes to worst, we can make two decisions. We can choose to be the victim, or we can assess, adapt, overcome, and choose to be the victor. Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Next up, we have Mariah Lee from Boys and Girls Club of Larimer County.
In 2010, 77% of kids were bullied. Out of that 77%, 14% of them were said to experience severe consequences to their abuse. 25 reported incidents of bullying suicides are reported each year, and 1 in 5 kids in America don't know where the next meal is coming from. I choose not to be another statistic. As a young child, I didn't realize how much bullying would affect me in the future. I kept it a secret from the age of 7 to 12. By the time I was in 8th grade, what had started out as one bully turned into a group of 5 or 6. After 5 years of being bullied verbally, I had had enough. At the same time of bullying, when I was in middle school, my sister was also having a hard time too. My parents focused a lot on keeping her out of trouble. This made me feel unimportant and very upset. So when I got home from school in the club, I would go to my room and lock myself in my room for the rest of the night and try to forget about the things that had happened that day. To add to the troubles that I was already facing, we were also having financial problems. There were weeks that we wouldn't have water, heat, electricity, or food at our house. This added to the bullying because I would have to wash up and brush my teeth at school. There were times where I didn't smell as well as I should, and I was too embarrassed to explain why. There were also 6 months where me and my family lived in a hotel. We also lived with my dad's friends for 4 months because we had nowhere else to go. Therefore, we didn't have our own place for about a year. Due to all the stress and low self-esteem that I was facing, I wrote with the school, police, and Child Protective Services called a suicide letter. I addressed it to one of my bullies. The boy's father saw the letter and told the school. The Child Protective Services thought the reason for the letter was because of my home life. They threatened to put cameras in my house and take my sister and me away from my parents. Without the Boys and Girls Club, I would not have had the support I needed to get through the times that I faced. If the Boys and Girls Club did not have dinner, I probably would not have gotten the right amount of food that I needed. Being at the club made me feel as though I had a family in Colorado. Although this family didn't have the same upbringing as I did, we still loved each other and cared for each other as a family would. Getting Youth of the Year last year was the first time that I spoke out to anyone not involved in bullying. Doing this helped me build my self-esteem, and it also gave me a chance to face what had happened and get over it. Now when I go to the Boys and Girls Club, I'm not just there as a member. I am there as a junior staff and a volunteer. I am also there as a leader and a role model for the younger kids that attend. When the members of the Boys and Girls Club hear my speech, they realize they can make a difference. They can make their lives into something big, even if they didn't have the best childhood. And they too can decide not to be another statistic.
Thank you, Mariah. Keenan Miss Planks is next from Boys and Girls Clubs of Waupatacom.
Hello, my name is Keenan Splinks. Childhood is the most important time of your life to learn, mature, and prosper. During these times, bad things can easily mess up or ruin a childhood. Boys and Girls Club offers a safe place for a kid to just be a kid. Club members are lifted of their responsibilities as young adults and are able to play with peers and positive role models by their side. When I first joined the club, I really needed it. I was 10 years old and I was battling cancer at the time. I needed a place to play and make friends and just be a kid rather than a kid going through chemotherapy. When I went to the club for the first time, I was in awe. It was such an amazing place to be safe and be great after school. And it is such an amazing place to go after school while my parents are at work, and it has become my home away from home. One day, I found out they were starting a new club called the Torch Club. I signed up and became a member. I also signed up to run for treasurer, but when the time came for me to give my speech to run for treasurer, I got a virus and was hospitalized for a week. My immune system was so weak that I was not able to go to the club and give my speech. I wrote my speech in my hospital bed and emailed it to my advisor. When I found out that I was elected treasurer, I was overjoyed. The next year, when elections happened, I became president. And that year, we got elected Torch Club of the Year for the Southwest region. Me, my co-president advisor, and I traveled to Orlando, Florida to accept this very prestigious award. While in Orlando, I met some very important members of the Boys and Girls Club of America: Kelvin Davis, Romero Brown, Eve P. Respers, and Denise Bethea. When I turned 14, I joined the Keystone Club. We have been many places and done many things in the Keystone Club this year. We took a trip to our homeless shelter to feed food to the less fortunate. We went to our local college to learn about the environment of the college. We went to a Keystone conference here in Denver to learn about leadership and job opportunities in the future. In Keystone, we can express ideas about ways to change a club. I came up with an idea to brighten everyone's day. I call it the Smiles Campaign. In the Smiles Campaign, we do anything to help brighten a kid's day. At the end of every Keystone meeting, we feed a cute or funny picture and give it to a kid that does not look like they're having such a good day, to make them smile, because happiness and smiles is what the Boys and Girls Club is all about. The Boys and Girls Club has brightened many kids' futures, including mine. The Boys and Girls Club is a great place to learn, prosper, mature, and be great. Thank you.
Next up is Katie Scott from Boys and Girls Clubs of Northwest Colorado.
Good morning. Life is like photography. We develop from our negatives. He was a hypocrite and he was a traitor. A young person's trust cannot be taken advantage of like that. He was a man of God. He told me suicide was never the way out. And just one short week later, he did that. He took his own life. My name is Katie Scott. I'm 17 years old and a senior at Moff County High School in Craig, Colorado. It's been 5 short years since my #1 mentor killed himself. He was my youth minister. He had been charged with sexual assault on a child by a person in the position of trust. He did this to one of my best friends. I lost my faith, my hope, and my trust in people. I started thinking at such a young age, would I ever be whole again? Would I ever have a hero or a mentor, or even just somebody to look up to, like many of the other kids my age did? Of course, my family was there for me, but they didn't understand the bond, the sickening bond this man had with several of us young girls in our youth group. I started struggling in my schoolwork, my relationships, and most of all, in my faith. Then 2 years later, I began working at the Boys and Girls Club of Northwest Colorado. I never did attend the club when I was little, but I quickly realized that I wanted to be a mentor to the kids there. I wanted to give them what I had lost. I never would have imagined that the club and the kids would have made the impact it has on me today. The Boys and Girls Club is truly my second home, and is a second home to many of the kids that attend. It's a place where we can all go and get away from everyday struggles, which range anywhere from parents getting a divorce, to a family member dying, to friendship problems, to simply not getting their way. Kids are affected by everything, no matter the size of it. The Boys and Girls Club has showed me that I can trust people, although they will fail you. The kids have all taught me what it's like to be a friend. As Jessen, a 9-year-old little girl, told me, a friend is someone you like, someone who's there for you, and someone who listens to you. From working at the Boys and Girls Club, I now have faith that people are there for you, hope that everything will work out, and trusting people is a good thing. I will graduate in May and plan on becoming an elementary teacher, specializing in special education. I'm excited to be the first generation of my family to go to college. I thank the Boys and Girls Club for showing me that I can make a positive difference in kids' lives. Yes, I believe life is like photography. We develop from our negatives, and the Boys and Girls Club of Northwest Colorado has been my photographer. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
kids struggle in life. They have to grow up, go over the positives, and don't think about the negatives. I was one of the kids that had to grow up and go to the positives and not think about the negatives. My family went through financial problems, deaths in the family, and close people leaving us. When I was about the age of 4, my father decided to leave me and my family, and it was a very, very hard time. My mom was a single mom with 4 kids for about 8 years, and so my family was greatly blessed with my stepfather. He was in the military, and he took us in without any hesitation whatsoever, and he took care of us. At the time, my mom had lost her job, and we were going financially through some very, very hard times. And he took us in. He took us in with all the pain and the struggle that we had been through in life. Even though he knew what he was stepping into, he never once backed down. He never thought of it as negative. He looked at it as a positive and a way to start a new family in life. From him and from my family, I have learned to be a very positive role model for my brothers and sisters and the kids at the Boys and Girls Club. Being a military child is a very hard thing. You end up leaving your old home, your family, your friends. I've only had to move once in my life, but it is a very hard thing. I've also learned that when you leave your friends and family, it's a way to start something new. I have close friends in Florida, which I'm from, and close friends here in Colorado. I've learned amazing things with the move that I have taken. When I became a part of the Youth Center, it was after 6 months I had been here in Colorado. I learned that there were kids that needed my help as I needed theirs. I used to just be around a whole bunch of middle schoolers and, trying to be the cool kid. But when I seen all these little kids and stuff, they taught me something that not many people get the chance to learn. I learned how to be a kid myself again. I learned how to treat people the way they treat people. I learned how to say jokes, have fun again, instead of trying to be this serious person who's always trying to be cool. I like to think of myself as a kid at heart. From them and from all the things that I've gotten through life, from my parents, from my stepfather, from my family, and everybody backing me up, they have helped me persevere my dream. I would like to be a pediatrician one day. And to do that, I had to start my early education. The way I did that was, I still am getting all A's and B's in school. And I have also started dual enrollment. I am now currently enrolled at the Community College of Aurora. I am taking Psychology 101, and it's not a very easy class. Although it sounds easy, it's not very easy. I would like to thank you guys for this opportunity. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Kayla. Next, we have Josh Hodson from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Chapin County.
Be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. That is a quote I learned from one of my fellow staff members at my local Boys and Girls Club. Hi, I'm Josh Hodson. I'm 15 years old, and I'm a sophomore at Salida High School. For as long as I can remember, my parents have fought constantly and were in and out of trouble with the law. And they struggled with drug addiction, and they were out of work a lot, so it was hard for them just to put food on the table. 3 years ago, my family lost my home. My mom moved out to start finding work and a place to live. My sister moved out to start a life on her own. And I felt lonely because I only had my dad. As much as I love him, I still get annoyed from the here and there. And my sister was all I really had, so I was lonely indeed. When I was in elementary school, I was bullied and teased for a lot of things I did and how I lived. But one day I found the club, and quickly I made a bunch of new friends who became instantly family to me. So I could be myself and nobody was around to make fun of me at all. I was so happy to feel that way. And so the best part was that the staff understood me and were always there for me. so I could get my feelings out. I wouldn't be afraid of what they would say back to me, and I would always be happy about what they would say. So the Boys and Girls Club staff helped me from feeling lonely and bullied to feeling confident and alive within myself, and I felt so enjoyed. Now, school was a huge obstacle for me, and it still is. I was frustrated, I will not lie, and I didn't want to fail. Nobody wants to fail. So one day I took my homework to the Boys and Girls Club, and I got help that neither my parents or my teachers could not give me. And so I went from failing to getting to honor roll by 4th grade, all the way up to 6th grade. The club is the #1 place that I can make an impact. I enjoy being an older role model, you could say, for the younger children. But the biggest impact I've been able to make is creating a team program for all the teams in my neighborhood to come hang out. When I was 14, I was still the oldest kid still coming to the club. And so we had a new staff member, and he asked me to become the first junior leader. And I felt so surprised and happy to have earned such a role in part of my community. And so the staff were able to put together the puzzle, but I was the glue. So I made it all come together and made it stay there. So 2 team nights are now offered for all teams who want to come out and hang out and just be themselves. The club is the #1 place that I can reach my full potential. At the club, I've learned to be respectful, helpful, and confident. I'm more confident speaking with adults than is just a negative peer pressure such as drugs and alcohol. The club is the #1 place that gave me the skills I need to succeed in college. I've learned the importance of being punctual, organized, and responsible. Overall, the club's the best thing to have happened to me in my life, and I'm so happy that they are always there for me. And I will be giving plenty back in the future to say thank you for what they've done to me so far and helping me in any time I needed them. And overall, the club is the best home that I've ever had, with the second best family I've ever had. And I enjoy having them throughout my life.
Next, we have Josie Garcia Stalker from Falcon Trail Youth Center.
Who am I? That's a question that many youth ask themselves on a daily basis. After all, we're just starting to become who we will be. Do our future professions define us? Do our clothes or peers define us? Do our childhoods define us? My family broke up because of domestic violence. When I was 2, I watched my father almost strangle my mother to death. That incident was the final straw, and she got out of a 3-year abusive relationship because she didn't want me growing up allowing anyone to treat me like that. Because of her brave decision, it meant many hard times for us. If not for the charity of others, we would have gone hungry, faced homelessness, and I fear hopelessness. But even though we struggle, we get through with a lot of help from our friends, seen and unseen. One Christmas, while my mom was a student, the doorbell woke us up. We opened the door to see that no one was there. Instead, we found a gift card for my mom and a doll for me. It made me happy, so I didn't understand why my mom was crying. If you ask me what my club means to me, I'll tell you that story, because that's how I learned what community means. Going through hard times makes me think of all the other people going through hard times. Service to others is one of my personal values. Even though I don't have possessions to give, I do have time and love. When I perform service for others, I experience the true love of Christ. John 15:12 says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." At my club, many people of different religions value service. This school year, my teachers recommended me to be a web leader and peer mentor. I used my Spanish-speaking skills to orient ESL 6th graders to their new school. Para mí, ser un líder significa guiar a otros y siempre tener integridad. My Boys and Girls Club gives me the opportunity to be mentored by good leaders and to simultaneously strengthen my leadership skills. At my club, I'm a part of a community that accepts me, understands me, and wants the best for me. I can get help and education on opportunities I never knew about. I can be a part of service to others. My club is a place where I can be me. My club knows who I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Next, we have Warren Ward from Fort Carson CYS Services.
I'm going to take you back to the past where I first found the Boys and Girls Club. Just imagine with me for a moment. It's been 3 or so years since you moved to a new place. You made great friends and relationships along the way, and your life is perfect. You realize it cannot last long because you're in the military. You've been in the military for 8 years. You have to move sometime. It's been a while since you last moved, so eventually your worst fear comes to life. You're sitting down with family while your parents explain the heartbreaking news. They explain the next chapter of your military life. You beg to stay, but you know that it's not their choice. Your heart drops while the past 3 years fills your mind. Yes, you did see it coming, but you couldn't believe it. The day comes when you're forced to leave, and leave a piece of yourself at your recent home. But you must muster the courage to go on for your family and keep a straight face so that they can go on too. The next year goes by, and you decided that if you don't make any friends, and if you don't join in the community, that you can't get hurt, nobody else can as well. One day after my dad deployed for the second time, my mom decided to put us in a program at the CYS, just so we can get our mind off of everything that's happened. Her solution was to put us in the program, and as we went there, we saw that everyone was going through the same problems that we were, and we've gone through the same hardships, and because it was a military installation. It was kind of like my sanctuary, a place where I was not alone, and goodbyes were never scary, because everyone there had to do it. Even when I moved again, I attended another military installation and felt completely at home again. It made my life easier and made me feel like I've been home all along.
Our next speaker is Kaylee Guerra from Boys and Girls Clubs of Pueblo County.
Have you heard the quote, "Great futures start here"? My life literally began with the Boys and Girls Club. I remember my grandma Sandy telling me stories about how she picked my mother and dad from the hospital and taking us home in a club van when I was born. The club from the start became a positive place for me, and as I grew older, it truly became my home away from home. My mom and grandma are the two most influential people in my life. At the age of 16, my mom became a mother. I can't imagine having a child at 16. I am 16. I think back and wonder how scared she could have been, or what her future could possibly look like as a teen mom. However, my mother has never kept any of this from me, hoping the knowledge would benefit me in the long run, and it has. My mother's determination to provide a good home and be a positive role model has been a driving force in what I would like my future to look like. I had developed her work ethic and I started the early college program at Pueblo Community College as a sophomore in high school. I've not always been so outgoing. I have the club to for that. I first started attending the Eastside Clubhouse at the age of 5. I was a shy and timid little girl, but that was soon to change. The club staff encouraged me to get involved in programs, not only so I could learn, but so I could feel comfortable to come back to the club every day. After a year at Eastside, I transferred to the Picnic Clubhouse, where I had the opportunity to interact with kids of all ages. I can remember team leaders helping with homework and power hour, and it was then that I knew I too wanted to be a team leader someday. The art room was my favorite place to hang out. I never knew I had artistic ability until the instructor inspired me to work with so many different forms of art. Over time, I felt at home, and I transferred to the Sprite Clubhouse, where I was introduced to club athletics. I remember the first sport I played on was basketball, and then flag football. It was through my participation in these sports that I developed my competitive spirit. As I grew older, I had the chance to participate in programs such as Get Real about drugs and violence. I had the chance to attend the Get Real conference in Denver, and I remember protesting the use of tobacco products alongside the Riverwalk. This is where I learned to live above the influence of drugs and alcohol. Overall, my club experiences helped me build character, as well as develop characteristics I never knew I had. As I look back, I have learned something new about myself. I am that trusted leader. As I was always the one asked to be in charge. At the Beach Club, I was nominated to be president, and just this year, I was nominated to be Keystone president. At the beginning of the school year, I worked alongside staff as a team leader and then as a junior staff. My experiences never end. So you see, when you hear the quote, "Great futures start here," think of me and remember it's more than just a quote for some, it's reality.
Okay, Rio Van Meter from Black Canyon Boys and Girls Club.
Sadness gives depth. Happiness gives height. Sadness gives roots. Happiness gives branches. Both are needed, and the higher a tree goes, the deeper it goes, simultaneously. That's its balance. My name is Rio Van Meter. I'm a senior at Olathe High School, and I'm 18 years old. I've been a part of the Black Canyon Boys and Girls Club for 10 years. 10 years that molded me into a tree. Boys and Girls Club has taught me that like a tree, you must stand tall. Not only when the sun is shining, but when the rain is pouring down as well. How you react to the rain is what shapes you. When the rain pours, I always look to the club staff for support. For a lot of my childhood, things weren't good between my parents. The fights started small, then they would escalate, and finally, someone would leave. I felt like the only people I could confide in were the club staff. They always knew how to see me through whatever was going on in my life. In March of 2010, there was an incident that forever changed the way I allow people to affect me. I was walking to club when a classmate ran up behind me and grabbed me inappropriately. It shook me to my core. I felt worthless. I became a shell of the person I had been. When I got to club, the staff saw that something was terribly wrong. With the support of the staff, I have become a person again, and I have grown strong. Like a tree, it'll take a lot before anyone cuts me down again. Boys and Girls Club continues to help today. My parents aren't there when I'm at home because they live 800 miles away. Due to opportunity, they made the decision to move. To stay and live with my grandma was the most difficult choice I've ever made. But the club staff supported me through every step of the process. They don't just support me the way a family would, but they surround and comfort me whenever I need it most. Lately, I have needed all the support and comfort Boys and Girls Club offers. On December 4th, 2011, my grandma had a stroke. I remember that night more clearly than any other. I was awakened by the sound of something falling, and I rushed out to the living room to find her face down on the floor. I began to tremble and my heart was racing. The strongest woman I've ever known had terror in her eyes. I'll never erase that image from my memory. I was confused and terrified, and I knew my life was changing. My schedule began to revolve around doctor's appointments and caretakers. Feeling alone, I turned to the people that have been as dependable as my family. The club staff are there whenever I need to talk, or even just cry. I never feel overwhelmed because club has given me the strength to stand on my own, like every tree must do. Trees don't stay strong and sturdy for themselves. They do it to protect those who depend on them. At club, I've gone from the protected to the protector. That is the greatest gift Boys and Girls Club has given me. I've learned to protect others from the rain, to never let anyone cut me down so easily, and to stand on my own. I am a tree.
Thank you, Ria. Cameron Simmons is next from Boys and Girls Clubs of the Pikes Peak.
I am a mountain, I am a tall tree, oh, I am a swift wind, sweeping the country. I am a river, down in the valley, oh, I am a vision, and I can see clearly. If anybody asks you who I am, stand up tall, look them in the face and say, hello, my name is Cameron Simmons, and I am the Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Club of Colorado Springs. I have dwelt on this earth for 18 years, where I'm working towards greatness. I am blessed, highly favored, and uniquely made, pressing to make a difference in this world. My ultimate goal in life is to leave a positive mark that future generations can look to. This confidence and ambition to inspire people has not always been my story. I was a troublemaker, always looking for the next way to do something bad. It was not until the 4th grade when I joined the Boys and Girls Club that this all changed. Throughout all the programs I participated in, one in particular stands out. Karate. It was something new for me. It gave me an outlet to release an anger that stemmed from the bullying and stereotyping that I had experienced. Karate taught me discipline and self-control. Not only did the karate class help me, but also the support from the club staff. They made me feel important, special. They acknowledged my progress and pushed me to reach higher. In particular, Ms. Drace and Ms. Sherrell. The Boys and Girls Club staff gave me a goal-oriented mindset, which I still possess today. Currently, I am the peer leader for the Passport to Manhood program, where I mentor young boys to strive for excellence and exhibit respect. Outside of the club, I would not be the young man I am today without my grandma and my mother. These women taught me extremely important life lessons. They showed me that I didn't have to follow the trends and styles of everyone else, that I could be different. I could be a leader. As a matter of fact, I am different, and I am a leader. These women don't ever let me accept defeat when I fall. They tell me to get back up and try again. With all the lessons I've learned through the Boys and Girls Club and the support from my family, it has gotten me to this point. A senior in high school and college bound, I will be attending Xavier University of Louisiana, majoring in business marketing and management. This will be an asset and help me to make a difference. Thus, if anybody asks you who I am, stand up tall, look them in the face, and say, I'm that star up in the sky, I'm that mountain peak up high, hey, I made it, I'm the world's greatest, I'm that little bit of hope, when my back's against the rope, I can feel it, I'm the world's greatest. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Next is Zach Avant from the R.P. Lee Youth Center.
Michael Jordan once said, I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. This is what I tell myself every day because the people at the Boys and Girls Club have taught me to believe in myself and shown me that I'm capable of doing anything I put my mind to. I have been coming to the club since I started kindergarten, and now it's been 11 years later, and I still come whenever it's open. I should have a VIP card here. At an early age, I wondered why I couldn't read and write like the other kids. until I discovered I had dyslexia. It was at the club that I was not judged by this, even though I wrote my own name wrong. I was a little shy and unsure of myself because of my dyslexia, but being in a supportive environment over the years has changed my perspective of what I can achieve in life, and believe that any dream I have can become a reality. After all, I have people in my life that support me in any way they can. Through the different programs offered at the club, I now have a variety of information that will aid me when I venture out into the world. And the most important thing is that I've grown into a person who believes that I can achieve anything as long as I don't give up. Before the club, I was unsure of my strengths and weaknesses as a person. Now I'm a confident teen who's not afraid to be myself. I can step out into the world, experience new things, and give back to others in need. If it wasn't for the club, the people, and the opportunities I have here, I don't think I would have this confidence in myself. The Boys and Girls Club is a place where I feel safe and supported. Growing up with a brother and sister who are 10 years older than I am, I didn't have kids to play with. The club is a place where you can meet different people. The club is a place where you can meet different people and grow into their unique selves. It was because of this that I have kids to play with, build relationships that will lead me into adulthood. Youth can step out of their comfort zones, experience new things through games, art, field trips, and other activities. These experiences help teens like me to be the best individual we can be. This gives us a map for success when we step out into the world and chase our dreams. Thank you.
Next, we have Ethan Trujillo from Boys and Girls Clubs of the San Luis Valley.
Hello, everyone. We are all winners already. We've already won. There's no doubt about that. Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Trujillo from the San Luis Valley. I like to start with something we all can notice. Anyone can dress up in a nice, fancy outfit and look good and feel good. But today, I don't just look good and feel good because it's the first suit I've ever owned. Not just because this is one of the biggest and the coolest things I've ever done. I feel great and genuinely happy because the people I have met and the opportunities I've had with my Boys and Girls Club. I've been coming to the club with my two younger sisters who mean the absolute world to me. I've been coming to the club to stay away from getting in fights, using drugs and alcohol, and all that teenage drama we don't need in our lives. It is a place, it is a sanctuary where we can go, feel safe, do our homework, and raise our grades and have fun. But the clubs have done so much more than help with homework and raise our grades and help us raise our grades and keep all the drama away from us. The clubs have taken us in and make us feel like part of a family. I am happy to say that I am a junior staff member and a member of our Keystone Club. I will be the first out of my family to graduate from high school and the first to attend college. I hope to major in sociology or marine biology. The club has just done so great for me, something great. The club has turned me into the kid who is no longer shy, withdrawn, or lost. The club has taken me in and made me feel like part of a family. Thank you to my club and to all the other clubs who take a chance on kids just like me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ethan. Our last speaker for today is Manuel Anchondo from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Denver.
I was 6 years old when our family immigrated to this country, but it wasn't until I was 10 that I realized that my life would be different. That was the year my grandmother passed away, and I was told I could not return to Mexico to say goodbye. From that point forward, the differences in my life became more defined. As the youngest child in my family, and the only person at home who spoke English, I played the role of translator, bookkeeper, and the bridge between cultures. My parents always told my sisters and I that we were here because they wanted something better for our lives. They would always say, "Solo queremos que estés feliz." We want you to be happy. But happiness was often difficult to find amidst so many challenges and fears. At the age of 12, I was turned away from a competitive baseball team, and despite my outstanding grades and hard work, I was denied access to the Gifted and Talented program. That same year, I was refused admission to college prep and scholarship programs. It was as though many people believed that my future was expendable. Ultimately, my sister and my parents acquired legal residency in this country. Suddenly, after years of being isolated in my school, my community, in my country, I also felt isolated within my family as the only member without legal status. But things were about to change for me. At the age of 13, I was one of the very first members of the Commerce City Boys and Girls Club. Though my obstacles did not disappear, I suddenly had a new extended family. With the Boys and Girls Club, opportunities were handed down with a warm and welcoming hand. This was a new experience for me. Thanks to the Boys and Girls Club, I began to grow and mature as I realized that my future was not expendable and I too deserved the chance to dream. At the age of, however, by far the biggest impact the Boys and Girls Club has had in my life is through the strong relationships I have with the club staff. My branch director, Daisy Martinez, has always encouraged me to pursue my goals no matter the obstacles. The former athletic director, Anthony, was like a big brother to me. Together, Chase and Anthony have taught me about what it means to be a good student, and most importantly, what it means to be a good man. As a young boy, I could have internalized a lot of my disappointments and used them as excuses to choose a different path. But thanks to the Boys and Girls Club and the confidence it gave me, I found a better way. On May 19, I will graduate from Adams City High School in the top 6% of my class. In the fall, I plan to attend Colorado State University and major in mechanical engineering. And this past Friday, I have finally joined the rest of my family in becoming a permanent resident of the United States. But I am more than that. I am much more than that. Thanks to the Boys and Girls Club, I have learned that I am not my limitations, fears, or disappointments. I am my dreams.
Please join me in thanking all these youth one more time.